keeps kicking me in the dick. Why? Why does he keep kicking me in the dick?
A big noise playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place. We will rock you. We will rock you. We will rock you. You big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place. Buddy, you're a young man, hard man, shouting in the street, gonna take on the world someday. You got blood on your face, you big disgrace, waving your banner all over the place. We will rock you. We will rock you. Now you do what they told ya. 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 Told ya. Told ya. Told ya. Told ya. Told ya. Buddy, you're an old man, poor man, pleading with your eyes, gonna make his own feast someday. You got mud on your face, big disgrace. Somebody better put your bag into your place. We will rock you. We will rock you. Rock you. Rock you. Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place. We will rock you. We will rock you. We will rock you. We will rock you.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the last bastion of sanity for this portion of the internet. I give unto you the Last Vox. My name is Matt, and I want you to sit back, relax, grab your favorite beverage, and understand that you are, without a doubt, one of the most intelligent people on the planet, compared to the people we talk about on this show. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back, and it has been a whirlwind of a week, has it not? But before we get too far into that, we're going to say hello to the people who are in chat, and they've been waiting patiently. Za came in with a first, dethroning Mitzi for, I think, the first time in like 2 months. So that's always a good thing. How's it going, Zaw? Mitzi, although, was second. Ray was third, and Haster comes in with an honorable mention, dethroning Nathan Marcano for his 4 weeks in a row of being honorable mention as well. How's it going, Ishtar? Ishtar's here as well. Hello, darling. She is apparently going to be making some peach cobbler cheesecake. I don't know how that's going to do, but I will tell you that if it's good enough, I will fight you for the recipe. How's it going, Jacob? Nathan is here, says hello there. Ray says, man, these TikTok sea shanty vids are crazy. I don't know, I haven't been paying attention to the sea shanty vids. I do know that it's kind of a meme going on here. Steve says it's 7, but it says 7, but it's 7 and no stream. And no sooner did I do that, but did he say that, but I started going live. So sit your butt down, Steve, and enjoy. Malik's here. How's it going, Malik? Let's see, who else is here? I see Igor in the chat. How's it going? Igor is making some delicious brewery again, and I can't complain that I'm looking forward to seeing what he sends us. Ishtar will be making some brownies again as well. How's it going, Allie? And then I think that's everybody. Yes, Ray, diabetes with a fork. That's exactly what it's gonna be. Now, if you guys are on Ishtar's Discord, she kind of did a little she didn't do a play-by-play, but what we tend to do is if we see bad movies, we'll do a play-by-play. We did a play-by-play of Dick Shark. We started to do one of was it Pumpkinhead? It's not Pumpkinhead, it's Pumpkin Man. Of Pumpkin Man. And we also were going to do one of a movie that KG found called Bigfoot vs. the Illuminati. Good God. Ray, we are gonna have words about that. How's it going, Wren? Igor says, should be good. All the ingredients arrive Tuesday for the dueling batches. One different ingredient and different yeast each. Going to be fun and tasty. Yes, okay. So, you know what? I'm going to go get the movie because I have to read the back of it. So I'm going to be right back. I'm going to show you the front. I'm going to read the back, and then I'm going to talk about this movie. And it wasn't well done, and it wasn't awesome, Ray. Give me just a second. Alright. It was nothing like Kung Fury. Nothing like Kung Fury. Alright. This is... You can't... trying to get the reflection out of there. This is Bigfoot versus the Illuminati. Okay? That is a really cool... I mean, compared to what we got in the movie, that is a really cool looking Bigfoot. Although I'm assuming it's not necessarily a Bigfoot. It's either a Bigfoot hybrid or it's a werewolf. Now, why do I say werewolf? Well, hold on. Let me read you this. Yes, it had Aleister Crowley and Joseph Stalin. Guys, you are not ready for this. You are not ready for this. It's time for war. Earth year 2044. So, in 23 years. Just keep that in mind. Advanced AI robots have drained the Earth of its natural resources, leaving the planet a barren shell, incapable of sustaining life. Now, I want you to know, this is taken directly from the movie, because all of this exposition is in the first 30 seconds, so you're not missing anything. A rebel-human alliance forms in outer space, eventually led by the gutsy last survivor of her royal family, Queen Nefertatu Ka. Yes, Queen Nefertatu Ka. Now, you heard all of that. Now forget all of it, because it doesn't matter. Fast forward to the year 4044. Adrift in space, with no planet to call home, Queen Nefertatu Ka's last heir, another last heir, Princess Kali, calls on the infamous monster slayer Van Helsing and his co-pilot, Bigfoot, to do battle with humanity's greatest enemies, the Illuminati, whose leader, Wrathchild, has aligned himself with the resurrected reptilian clones of Aleister Crowley, Joseph Stalin, and their indestructible mauler, Exterminator, a robot forged deep in the pits of planet Hell. Now that what remains of the human race must band together and fight back the Illuminati in their toughest battle yet. One for their very soul. Now that sounds bad. And Ishtar and I were ready to watch bad. There is bad. And then there's, oh my god, this is horror bad. And then there is, this is horror terror bad. And then there is, this is horror terror bad completely made to be trying to be good bad. It's all CG. And to its credit, it is not bad CG, but we're talking early PlayStation 2 CG. CGI. Nothing happens in this fucking movie. Not a goddamn thing happens. All it is it's two characters on the screen, or at a max one character on a screen, doing nothing but exposition. We are introduced to characters who are quickly killed off that we're supposed to care about. We are also introduced to plot lines that go fucking nowhere, and on top of that, oh my god, on top of that, we are introduced to the aliens, the Archons. The Archons are the Illuminati. They are never called that whatsoever, except for the beginning in that exposition that is good God, it is just bad. So, none of the dubbing syncs up, and then we're introduced to Bigfoot. And Bigfoot doesn't look like this. Instead, Bigfoot is apparently someone picked a really ugly gorilla costume, gave it claws and fangs that would make it impossible for Bigfoot to fucking talk. But talk he does. It's all these people do in this movie, is talk. They cuss for no reason. They drop sexual innuendos for no reason. The main character, Van Helsing, who is desperately trying to get VH a thing, is a ripoff of The Mandalorian and Master Chief. Like, they're trying desperately to make them that cool. And he's not. Callie, the queen, the princess, whatever you want to call her, is a self-righteous bitch. And then let's continue on with some of the secondary characters. There is Dr. Jekyll, who is the human's doctor who wants to do experiments on Bigfoot as soon as he sees him, and his assistant, who doesn't have a name, but we can all guess that his name is Igor. Now you're saying, Matt, did you give this movie a chance? Yes, I did. I gave this movie about 30 minutes. Do you want to know what happened in 30 minutes? Not a fucking thing. Nothing. Nothing happened. 2 spaceships blew up with the exact same explosion. There was what looked to kind of possibly be a space battle, but you couldn't tell because they just took regular fighter jets, made them look sci-fi, and actually had the missiles drop down and fire off. This fucking movie, this goddamn movie, is nothing but 2 characters on the screen explaining everything that happened, or is going to happen, or should happen. They don't explain a good goddamn thing, and I'm sorry, I can watch bad movies. I sat through the entire 2-hour and 20-minute Dick Shark, okay? I sat through 2-hour and 15 minutes of Pumpkin Man. And we still have 4 more out there that are made by the same idiot that I need to sit through that has something to do with... He's got a kink for sexual assault. Be it because of a Dick Shark, or a Pumpkin Man, or whatever. But there are 4 more on Blu-ray. But this I couldn't do. How's it going, Sparky? Man, I hope you feel better. I really do. Yes, Ray, I know the movie was 75 minutes long. I lasted 30 and then I had to tap out, and so did Ishtar. Look, the aliens, the Archons, are apparently able to resurrect the evil dead souls because of dark alchemy, and there's a weird mishmash of Egyptian mythology and Greek mythology to where the Archons can just go down and call up Set and be like, yo, Set, bring me this soul. So we watched that train wreck for about 30 minutes. And then I decided to show Ishtar a good movie. One that she hadn't seen and one that I had only seen once. And that movie is John Wick. Now apparently I did not warn Ishtar soon enough that the first 5 minutes of the movie are basically his wife dying, him getting a dog, and then him being assaulted and the dog killed. She was not a happy Ishtar. Within the first 5-10 minutes of the movie, she was bawling her eyes out because of all this that happened. But, as she said in her Discord, this movie does give you a satisfying climb to the end. And going through all of John Wick, I realized that this movie didn't need sequels. It was a complete story from beginning to end. And it gave you a climax. It gave you something that you could latch onto, knowing that he was going to be moving on with his life. He had another dog. He was going to be fine. Now, granted, there were other parts of this movie that you could have delved into. So, this is one of those things that I've never seen before, which is, I wanted to. I never saw John Wick 2, and I never saw John Wick 3. So, the other day, I got a Target gift card for Christmas. So the other day, we're going through Target, and I happened to see that there was John Wick 1 through 3. So I pick it up. It's a Blu-ray collection. It has all the DVDs, has all of the Blu-rays, and it's all 3 John Wicks. Cool. And then I saw that they had Bill and Ted 1 through 3, so I picked that up too. We got halfway to the checkout, and then I realized I just picked up 6 Keanu Reeves movies without even realizing that they were both Keanu Reeves series. They're that different. Now, Keanu Reeves plays John Wick beautifully. You can tell he's vulnerable, you can tell he's mourning, you can tell he's upset, and it's really, really good. Let's see, I missed some people. How's it going, Psycho Fire? And how's it going, Knockstick? Nice to see you guys here. Malik wants to know what I'd rate Bigfoot versus the Illuminati. Before I get too far into John Wick, let me explain why this dude right here on the screen isn't in the movie. If he is, we didn't stay around to see him. I think that thing is Van Helsing. He turns into a werewolf or a Bigfoot hybrid, whatever it is. Because whatever Bigfoot was, it wasn't that. But they did, I mean, John Wick was beautiful. So we're going to, after this show, and while we start eating dinner and things like that, I'm going to put on John Wick 2. Because I've never seen it. And I know Ishtar hasn't seen it. And we're going to watch it. And I'm going to enjoy the shit out of it because I know it was good. I tried to enjoy this. I tried. You can't, I don't know how you can enjoy it. It's nothing but two people explaining instead of showing. So, on this show, I'm going to do something for you guys. And it's for the first person who can answer this that is not Ishtar. And unfortunately, it can't be Mitzi because I know for a fact that these digital codes don't work for her. So, there is something new in my screen. Whoever can tell me what is new in this screen, I have some codes for you for not only John Wick 1 and 2, but John Wick 3 as well. Nope, the mic is not new. Haster got it. I finally got the Unis Honest banner. And it's not a poster. It is a wall flag, basically. But Haster got it first. Unis Honest banner, it finally showed up. It's really cool. It's really big. And it's definitely worth the money that I spent. And I miss Unis Honest completely. I miss watching their shows, or their videos every day. So, Haster, DM me on Discord, and I'll get you those codes. And I'll do this whenever I get, like, when I open up the Bill and Ted stuff, I will do this for the next show as well. So if you didn't get the John Wick, I'll think of something, and for the next one I open, I'll set you do that one. But you guys didn't come and hear me rant about a movie, okay? You guys really didn't, because I could rant about how bad this piece of shit movie was forever, okay? Because it was trying to do a lot more than they had a budget for or a script for, and I can guarantee you, they were high as motherfuckers as they wrote it, and they thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. But we're going to get into some of these stories, and I got something for you guys. If you remember last week, we ended on a bad note. We ended on Twitter not banning child porn. It was a bad note. Like, that was something that we didn't want to end on, but it was late. Everybody got a little ragey. Twitter got a little used. Twitter is a piece of shit platform, and we can go on for that forever. But I got something for you guys that you may like. And it's kind of an update, kind of a thing. Let's see. Sex trafficking survivor challenges Jack Dorsey on the heels of bombshell lawsuit. How do you sleep at night? How's it going, Tom? And I think this is perfect. This is a perfect follow-up for us to go over about what Twitter was doing. And this is from an actual survivor. So I don't know how long it is. This is pretty long. We may not go over all of it, but we'll go over the basic points. Twitter was hit with a bombshell lawsuit last week alleging that a young boy, and you have to say alleged because it's not confirmed by a judge or conviction or anything like that, but alleging that a young boy who was solicited and recruited for sex trafficking had to endure his own sexual abuse material being promoted on Twitter, which it was, even after attempts were made to remove the content, which they didn't do until they were contacted by the Department of Homeland Security. Sex trafficking survivor and advocate Eliza Blue, who has worked with the boy, dubbed as John Doe for anonymity, has challenged Twitter's CEO Jack Dorsey in the wake of the lawsuit. John Doe serves as a voice for countless victims and survivors in the United States and around the world, Blue told the Daily Wire in a statement sent via email. Most of the children being abused cannot report their abuse to Twitter. Big Tech has shown consistently that they are unwilling to remove child sexual abuse material and human trafficking from their platforms at scale. Now, we did kind of go over why that's hard to do. They don't have enough resources. There's a lot of tricks that these guys know. Cops are always at least two steps behind the predators and things like that. So it is kind of hard, I can understand, but at the same time, when it is pointed out, they still don't get rid of it. So much as we have seen in times past, it takes brave survivors stepping forward to create change. John Doe is that survivor in this case. The advocate asserted his bravery will have a positive impact on the internet forever. He is a fighter, a young man wise beyond his years, willing to take on big tech, and I swear to God I hope he wins. This is one of those times, just like Nick Sandman, I hope to God he wins. I hope he rakes Jack Dorsey and Twitter over the fucking coals, because he deserves all of that he gets and what he wants because of what they did. How's it going, Herb? Blue said she used to think of Jack and the folks at Twitter corporate as people I could trust. I don't know why. Why would you trust people at Twitter? Never trust a corporation. If you think you can trust them, well, they've done their job in fooling you, but you never trust them. I thought that Twitter cared about vulnerable populations. They don't. They just care about what the mob wants and how quickly they can make them go away. I thought that Twitter cared about survivors. Yeah, they don't. I changed my mind after hearing the detail of John Doe's story. I haven't stopped fighting since. Good. Maybe you've woken up to the bit where they really don't care as long as whoever is helping them out or doing what they want is still giving them money. Blue, who is followed by Dorsey on Twitter, challenged the founder via direct message, though she says that she has yet to get a response from the big tech leader. And you won't. If you get any response, it's going to be from his lawyer. Or lawyers. Multiple. I have a question I've been meaning to ask you for a few months, Blue wrote to Dorsey. How do you sleep at night knowing a portion of your profits are coming from child abuse on Twitter, and you stay silent? John Doe was a 13-year-old. He was trafficked, Blue outlined via Twitter. His abuse was watched 167,000 times and had 2,223 retweets on Twitter. Twitter told Doe that it didn't violate their terms of service. Over the past few months, I have had the opportunity to walk side by side with this brave young man and his parents, the advocate said. John Doe has inspired me in ways that you can't imagine. He deserves justice. I love you, John Doe. Keep fighting, bud. You are not alone. How's it going, Damn Alien? Damn Alien says, how does Jack Dorsey sleep at night? Probably on the pile of the remains of his underage victims. Allegedly. Allegedly, Susan. Allegedly. Tom says he sleeps under a bridge next to the railroad tracks so he can jump into the next boxcar like every other gentleman hobo. Not wrong. Let's see. Blue was present when Doe and his mother, dubbed Jane Doe for anonymity, spoke before members of Congress. When I spoke in front of some of the members of Congress with Jane Doe, John Doe's mother, she spoke first. Her heart-wrenching story of a mother out of options, begging Twitter to remove the content, left no dry eye in the room. She told the Daily Wire, I made my statement following Doe, and after the meeting, I wept. So, there's still a lawsuit pending. I honestly hope he wins. Like I said, this is just kind of an update. I'll keep looking for more updates. Oh wow, it says Blue is set to appear on the podcast of journalist Tim Pool on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern to further discuss the suit and her work against sex trafficking. I don't know if that's happened already. What date did this come out? 27th? So yeah, that happened already. So a lot of this is not good for Twitter. And they're going to have to answer for it. And I hope they do. And I'm not talking about hoping they answer for it with their slew of lawyers or legal speak or anything like that. I hope to God they actually answer for it. I hope they lose a lot of money. And I hope that things change because of this. Whether it gets to a point where they have to ban porn on Twitter or whatever, I'm okay with that. I don't necessarily use Twitter for porn. Yes, I have seen a bunch of lewds on there. And speaking of porn on Twitter, I don't know if you guys know this. I don't have anything on it because I'm not going to go looking for it. Apparently, Shoe on Head had some of her nudes leaked. And that's not good either. I mean, I don't know who could have leaked them. I don't know where they got them. I don't know the story. I don't know anything that happened. I just know that her nudes have been leaked, which I feel sorry for her. I really do. But they're out there now. They're not going to go away. So if you see anybody spreading those around, she has openly stated that she doesn't want those out. If anybody is spreading her nudes around, this is one of those times I would be okay with you saying, report that, because she doesn't want that stuff spread. It's probably pretty uncomfortable for her. She is a very public figure on YouTube, for those who know who she is, and that's bad no matter what. Tom says she was cute, but is she nude worthy? Apparently someone thought she was. So, for those of you who are looking to open an OnlyFans, or maybe you want to follow Belle Delphine's footsteps and get into the sex work industry, you're going to have to top this next woman. Because, well, she's kind of cornered the market on something. And, if I wasn't involved, if I wasn't engaged, I may actually have sought this out. Yeah, I agree with Ishtar. It doesn't matter if she's nudes worthy or not. It's about humiliating and bullying her. She doesn't want them out there, and they got out there because someone decided to release them. So that's not cool, ever. But, you guys ready? So we go from nudes to a man who died visiting a sex worker has an extreme orgasm, listed as an official cause of death. Now, it's not uncommon for people to die during sex. Your body basically goes through, in essence, a car crash. Your heartbeat raises faster and faster. Your blood pressure goes through the roof. You sweat. You're breathing heavy. It's, in essence, pretty rough time. It's some of the best cardio you could ever get, but you're basically putting your body through the ringer with sex. So this person died during it, and we're going to get into it. A man's cause of death has been determined by a post-mortem as extreme orgasm after he died while visiting a sex worker in Fulambe, Malawi. Yeah, Psychofire says you don't know if you're coming or going. The deceased, named in a report from Fulambe police publicist Innocent Moses as one of Charles Majawa, lost consciousness after having sex with the woman in a town's trading district and died shortly afterwards. The woman involved discussed the matter with some of her colleagues before reporting the death to the police. How's it going, Jund? The police and medical examiner from Magawi Health Center viewed the body and confirmed on August 18th, 2020 that Mr. Majawa, 35, had in fact died while in the act. sugar packet. Why are they showing a sugar packet? I'm assuming it has something to do with it. A post-mortem listed the cause of death as being due to excessive orgasm, which caused blood vessels in the brain to rupture. This dude came so hard, he gave himself an aneurysm. I don't know if that's just him or if it's on the girl, but damn. Police confirmed that the woman would not be held liable for Majawa's death and no charges would be raised. Good. According to local newspaper, Nyasa Times, the poor man died of too much sexual excitement and sweetness. Alright. What does it mean by sweetness? Senior Chief Kaduya, it's a horrible name for this. How's it going, Crisis? That Mr. Majawa's body was taken back to his home village of Metapiwi. Are these real places? The tragic incident has become something of a national joke in Malawi, with social media posts about the incident going viral for months. Many have inquired what exactly the professional lady might have been doing to get such a dramatic result. Photoshopped images of packets of sugar marked Fulambe sugar, take at your own risk, and a photo of a car overloaded with blokes captioned Fulambe, here we come, have saturated Malawian Facebook. So I guess that's what this is about. He died of he died of extreme sexual what was it? What did they say? Excessive orgasm and sweetness. Too much sexual excitement and sweetness. That you know, that is a way I would like to go. That's definitely a way I would like to go. I don't know about you guys, but that's definitely something that could be fun. So, I don't know if he was diabetic, Jacob. I have no idea. But that's one way to get a what the fuck. Ray says, they say God only gave men enough blood to use one head at a time. Maybe this guy had a leak he didn't know about. He, apparently, Ray, he caused the leak himself. Now, this is another quick one, and it is an older article that I just came across a couple of days ago. And when I say older article, I mean 2011 older article. This article is 10 years old. And, oh boy. So I know Antoine does this a lot on MSNBC. So I'm going to try it out just for you guys. Woman dies of allergic reaction to the blank she had sex with. So you guys go ahead, you take your time, you think about what she could have possibly had sex with that caused her an allergic reaction. Nathan says death, Ray says lube, Igor says carrot, Hester says pinecone, ouch! Ben C says dog, Ishtar says dildo, Igor comes in with cucumber, wow, you guys are... Nathan says man carrot. Gnostic comes in with monkey. Tom says vegetable. Ali says banana. And, well, one of you has won. One of you guessed correctly. And I'm going to let you figure out who it was. So, a woman dies of an allergic reaction to the what she had sex with. You guys ready? Because I doubt you are. Woman dies of allergic reaction to the dog she had sex with. Oh boy. This, again, is from 2011. And just... whew. Now, I know you guys can see the top of the article right there. Does say Gawker. But here we go. after reading this weird news story, you will never have to read another weird news story ever again. You know, I'm sorry to say that, Gawker, you're wrong. I read weird news stories every weekend, and there's a ton of them out there. It has everything. An insane premise, crazy people, crushing irony, sex, crime, and sex crime. It seems an Irish woman died after an allergic reaction to a dog. A dog she had sex with. Yes. Really. Yes, Jacob. That's why I was basically saying this is 10 years old. So it's an older article, it's a short one. Apparently not for her though. From Ireland, the land of Guinness, like James Joyce, or geniuses like James Joyce, Oscar Wilde, and Bono. I don't know if Bono would be considered a genius, but sure. Comes the story of a 43-year-old woman who encountered a man in a bestiality chat room and then met him at his house in Limerick. This is one dirty limerick that is for the ages. She had sex with his Alaskan dog and then had a severe allergic reaction shortly afterwards, possibly from the dog's semen. She later died at the hospital. The incident apparently took place in 2008, but medical experts just confirmed the cause of death because the case is finally making its way to court. Not because it took them this long to get over the shock of how she died. The dog owner, Sean McDonald, is charged with buggery for ordering the dog to commit the act. Buggery is apparently still a crime on the books in Ireland, so thank God for that. McDonald is thought to be the first person charged with it since it was enacted in 1861. So next time you hear about a man biting a dog or a delivery driver run over by his own truck, just remember this story and remind yourself it's best to stay away from weird news. I'm going to click this link to see if there's more. Yeah, I believe it is. This is the same thing. Oh, according to this, the journal IE, the dog at the time had been kept in quarantine ever since the incident. Test shows she died of anaphylaxis. And, wow, it says McDonald could face a life sentence in prison if found guilty. Yeesh. So yeah, that was a thing. Seems like she wanted man puppies, like Lois' dad got many man puppies on that one episode of Family Guy. Nathan says, guess she didn't have the luck of the Irish Terrier. Boo! Bray says, there once was a woman from Limerick who was fond of a sexual gimmick. She found her fetish companion and died because her allergy was task specific. That doesn't rhyme! That didn't rhyme. Yeah, you need to retool that. Imagine explaining that to the other inmates. You know, I don't know if they found him guilty, Praetor. I don't know. It didn't say. I'm sure we could. You know what? Let's look it up. Alright, what was his name again? His name was Sean McDonald. Okay. may have to... let's see. Okay, so 2012 says judge postpones sentence in Irish bestiality case where one died. Sean McDonald from Limerick had met a woman on bestiality chatline, blah, blah, blah. It was originally believed she had an allergic reaction. Police officer Padraig O'Dwyer stated that the woman and the dog engaged in an act of bestiality. McDonald's computer had 3,500 comments on bestiality forums that he had contributed to. Lawyer Isabella Kennedy, defending, said, "My client would not have been prosecuted save for the lady in question passing away. The lady fully consented. There was no form of coercion or duress. It's a very unusual case." So it's just been postponed. Let's see if we can actually get a conviction here. Let's see. Okay, this one, I guess he's a bus driver. Okay, this actually has the answers that we are looking for. Alright, bus driver avoids prison in bestiality case. A bus driver has been given a 3-year suspended sentence in a buggery case described by Circuit Court Judge Carol Moran as socially repugnant even in these tolerant times. Sean McDonald, 58, of Churchill Meadows, Raheen, was convicted of the charge of buggery with an elastion on October 7th, 2008, after a woman was found in an unresponsive state after she had sex with a dog owned by Mr. McDonald. The mother of three was pronounced dead in a hospital later that night. Oh, Lord. Let's see. McDonald was found to have accessed a bestiality website with over 1.5 million hits in a 5-month period. Woman became unresponsive. He voluntarily went in, so that's good. Alright, where is it? The court previously heard that McDonald's name was added to the register of sex offenders, and any person on the registry is disqualified from having a haulage license for a vehicle which carries more than 9 people. This judge said, along with the enormous adverse publicity, was severe punishment for the accused. During the sentence hearing last week, Judge Carol Moran said that even in these tolerant times, acts of bestiality were considered socially repugnant. The defendant could have received anything up to life imprisonment, but Judge Moran said it was a very tragic case in which a woman died, and the outcome of the events could not have been foreseen. Amid emotional scenes, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison, suspended for a period of 3 years. His name was added to the sex offenders registry for a period of 5 years. The court is to be provided with quarterly updates on his continuing counseling for the period of the suspended sentence. So, what that means, guys, is he was convicted, he was sentenced. Having a suspended sentence means that if in the time of the suspended sentence, the 3 years, if he goes all 3 years without committing another act, then it will be time served. So it will be seen as he's done his due diligence or whatever he's done. He served his time for the 3 years. So he was out and able to do his job. But apparently he lost his job as a bus driver because he got his license revoked. And the stigma of what happened is going to live with him forever. So, do I feel bad for the guy? Yes. Do I feel bad for the children? As Prater says, oof, my mom died. We don't talk about it. That's something that you can't... Yeah. Let's see. It won't be E-I-E-I-O. You'll be hearing from that farm. Nathan! Let's see. Ray says, there once was a woman from Limerick who was fond of her sexual gimmick. She found her fetish companion and shared her feminine canyon, but died because her allergy was canine specific. Better, Ray. Much better. How's it going, Red Feather? So, let's talk about Ted Wheeler. I know, he's such a nice guy. He's the mayor of Portland. He supported Antifa. He supported his local community getting burned down. But he seems to have had a change of heart. After he was accosted at a restaurant, after people went to his home to where he had to move. Now, don't be too upset about Mayor Ted Wheeler moving from his condo because he had two others that he could go to. His condo was just his vacation home. But apparently, after he was accosted, which was caught on camera, whether they hit him or whatever, we don't know. There was no assault charges. Ted Wheeler apparently decided he was going to start carrying, well, protection. Not of the Trojan kind. But because he still has to play up to the people that are in his city, he can't necessarily carry around a gun either. So instead, he has taken a page out of Baked Alaska's playbook and has decided to carry around pepper spray with him. Now, is he doing what Baked Alaska did and go around pepper spraying everyone at random so he could have content? Probably not. He is the mayor, and he's not as dumb as Baked Alaska. But we have this. Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler pepper sprays man who confronted him over not wearing a mask. I'm going to read that again, because there's a little bit to unpack there. Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler pepper sprays a man who confronted him for not wearing a mask. Alright, so that means, one, Ted Wheeler is just like all these other government officials who don't believe that they have to follow the rules that they set forth. And then, when being confronted by someone, one of his constituents, one of the people that technically he works for, about not wearing that mask, because remember, Fauci says that we should probably wear 2 masks, if not 3 masks, in order for us to protect ourselves from the virus. He also says we should wear full face gear. He also says we should probably be wearing hazmat suits, and we should be locked away until it dies. I don't think Fauci knows what it means to be a human being. You can tell he's a lizard because, well, he wants people to be cold and shit and not be able to pay their bills so he can go in and consume their flesh to warm up. Yeah, Zod, just wear a whole damn box. So, yeah, Ted Wheeler not wearing a mask like he has decreed everyone else should, and then pepper sprays one of the people that he technically works for. We don't care about that part. Let's see. According to a police report, Portland Democratic Mayor Ted Wheeler pepper sprayed a person who accosted him while he was leaving a restaurant on Sunday night. This was the second time this month that Wheeler has been accosted while dining out. Well, if you remember, there was a Democrat out there that Maxine Waters, that was her name, Maxine Waters, told all of the people she was at a rally with that if you don't like what they do, you need to follow them where they are, find them where they are, find them at the gas station, find them at dinner, go to their homes, go to their places of business, and protest them and accost them and confront them. So this person was just following his idol, Democratic candidate Maxine Waters. But that doesn't matter to Mayor Ted. No, no, no. He's been accosted before and was put on blast on Twitter. And now he had to actually pepper spray somebody. Wheeler was leaving the McMenemes Hillsdale Brewery. I'm not even gonna try and say that name again because goddamn. And Public House in Portland around 8 p.m. Sunday night with former mayor and new administration hire Sam Adams. He went to a brewery with a person named Sam Adams. Can't make that up. How's it going, Cuttlefish? When a person confronted him and accused him of sitting in a restaurant without wearing a mask. Now, Ted Wheeler is kind of like Gavin Newsom, where Gavin Newsom believes you should be wearing a mask even while you're eating. You take your mask down, you take your bite, you put your mask back up, and you chew. And then you pull your mask down, you take a drink, put your mask back up. The entire time, your hands are making your mask filthy. But it doesn't matter, because it's okay for Gavin Newsom and people like Ted Wheeler to go out there and sit next to people who are not in their household with no mask on, having $1,500 plates at a party. But you guys can't do it. Don't you dare do it. You know, according to last week, the Australian government doesn't even want you having sex with your significant other. They just want you masturbating in front of them. But don't you dare make eye contact. No contact whatsoever. But it's okay for these assholes to go do it. Now, it says accosted. Now, accosted doesn't mean punched, doesn't mean grabbed, it doesn't mean assaulted. Accosted means he got yelled at. And according to this report, after he was accosted, well, Ted just opened up his pepper spray on the guy. In Multnomah County, outdoor dining is allowed, and Wheeler and Adams had been eating in an outdoor tent at the restaurant, and that he tried to explain to the man that people in Oregon were allowed to remove their masks for dining. Except you weren't eating, Ted. You were walking out. You weren't eating. So you're still going against what you said. The mayor described the alleged assailant in the report as a middle-aged white male. He allegedly followed Wheeler to his car and videoed the encounter. According to the report, Wheeler said he told the man he was carrying pepper spray and to back off, but the man refused. That's because he doesn't like hypocrites, and you are one. Because I can guarantee you Wheeler didn't put his mask on after he walked outside. He walked to his car with Sam Adams, and they were both maskless while this guy was going off on him. Rules for thee, but not for me. Wheeler claimed in the report that he had no face mask on and got within a foot or two of my face while he was videoing me. I became imminently concerned for my personal safety, as I had recently been physically accosted in a similar situation. In addition, I was concerned about contracting COVID, given that he was right in my face and he was not wearing a face mask. You weren't either, Ted. You weren't either. You were going against your own order. We're going to find out in a week or so that Mayor Ted has COVID. And he's going to blame this guy for it. And this guy's probably going to be arrested or whatever. He's going to be tried. And his life is now over because he decided he was going to give Ted Wheeler a piece of his mind. As Wheeler began to climb into his car, he pepper sprayed the man in the eyes. So as he was retreating into his car, he pepper sprayed the dude. Pepper spray is legal in Oregon, but can only be used in certain circumstances. You getting into a car is probably not one of them, but we all know that the mayor's not going to have anything bad happen to him. The mayor said he threw a water bottle at the man to rinse his eyes as the man was walking away before Wheeler and Adams drove away. Oh, you gave him a bottle of water. Good for you. Oh, Cuttlefish says Newsom's ousting is going well. Perhaps Oregon should take note. They should, but they won't. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but Gavin Newsom has been lifting restrictions in California. He's been doing it rather quickly. Because, well, there was a petition. A petition going around for Californians to impeach Gavin Newsom. And it was signed by more than enough people, I think, within the first day that it was out. So they're going to try and impeach Gavin Newsom, which they should. And he should never be able to hold office again. And I'm not talking about recall, Hester. I'm talking about flat out impeach. So he cannot run for office. He cannot hold public office. He cannot get any of the benefits. Nathan says, throwing the water bottle wasn't good. That was littering. How dare he? He stole our futures. Okay, so impeachment means he can't hold office again. Recall means that they're just going to pull him out and he can run for office again next time that there's an election. Barbara Boxer did it, and a couple of other people have done it too. It doesn't necessarily mean he can't be governor again. Let's see, where was it? The officers who took Wheeler's statement said the surveillance footage from the restaurant supports Wheeler and Adams' account of the incident. Earlier in the day, Wheeler was asked directly during a press conference if there was any validity to the rumors that he had pepper sprayed someone to the previous evening. Wheeler answered, "If there is, there will be a statement." As promised, an official statement was released from Wheeler's office later Monday, in which the mayor said he is cooperating with the police investigation and encourages others involved to do the same. Police have not yet identified the man from the incident. So yeah. I'm sure they're going to identify him pretty quickly. Sparky says, so Oklahoma had their first tornado yesterday in his area. Stay safe, Sparky. Sparky's been going through a lot, guys. He's had some problems with his arm. I hope he's feeling better. He doesn't need to, he doesn't need tornadoes near him. So I'm going to make him feel better. And be able to look at the screen and just go, what the fuck? And anybody who is listening, if you can, take a second to be able to watch the screen. I'm not even gonna, I'm just gonna play this. I'm not gonna, there's sound, so I'm gonna get my trusty headphones. And we're gonna watch this. And you guys are gonna scream. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So. Alright. He was so cute. For those of you who were able to see it, the wannabe alien has a face only a mother could love, and he definitely has a face for radio. Anthony Lefredo, a 32-year-old Frenchman who wants to be a black alien, has gotten his nose removed in Spain, where it is legal to do so. I think Malik, she was talking about before. The before picture, the one on the left here, is really not that bad. He's not that bad looking of a dude. But yeah, yeah. He also had his upper lip cut off and covered his entire body, including his eyeballs, in tattoos as part of his The Black Alien project on Instagram. In a reptilian twist, Lefredo also had his tongue split. Speaking about his latest transformation, he did not reveal when he had the creative work done, or by whom, but said he now struggles to speak after the lip removal operation. Yes, because in order to make sounds of letters and words, you have to have certain things connected. Like, that's why it's really hard if you get your tongue cut off. You can speak, it's hard to speak. But because your tongue isn't making the sounds, you get this part of your mouth removed, you're not being able to connect with your lips to make certain sounds. Ali asks, wouldn't that be considered blackface? I'm not touching that one. The oddball plastic surgery aficionado said he now dreams of removing his skin and replacing it with metal, as well as modifying his arms, legs, fingers, and the back of his head. He wants to remove his skin and replace it with metal. Despite his startling appearance, he says he has no problem attracting members of the opposite sex. Sure. I believe that 100%. Sparky says, OMG, he looks like a black Lectroid from Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai. Thank you to you, Oscar Marquez Body Mod. You will have marked my life. Now I can walk with my head high. Thanks to you, I am proud of what we did together. Lefredo wrote on Instagram about his drastic nose job. Nathan asks an important question. At what point do we just put this guy in an institution? You know, we used to. We used to do that. We don't anymore. We have to accept him the way he is, even if he wants to harm himself. Ray, that would actually hurt. Ray says if he gets metal skin, then women can attract him with a powerful electromagnet. Well, that powerful electromagnet may actually pull the metal off of his flesh. No, don't want to think about that. In 2017, he told French paper Midi Libre, from a very young age, I have been passionate about mutations and transformations of the human body. I had a click when I was a security guard. I realized that I was not living my life the way I wanted. I stopped everything at 24 and left for Australia, he told the outlet. Yeesh. God damn. That picture there. I love getting into the shoes of a scary character. I often settle down somewhere and play a role, especially at night in the dark streets. This dick is going to get himself shot. I explore the contrast between the role I play and myself. He's going to try and creep up on someone, and they're going to shoot him in the face. Because he can't talk, he's not going to be able to tell them. But yeah, this over here on the left is his before, and this on the right is his after. I give him credit for dedication. Cuttlefish asks, at what point do you not just think, I hate my life, and bang? And Gnostic says, this guy makes me feel like I might be attractive. Gnostic, you're married. You're at least attractive to someone. So I hope you... that is a face only a mother could love. Y'all don't get it. Ishtar says, y'all don't get it. This is an MIB cover for an actual alien. The alien doesn't want to hide anymore, so they're putting it out like that. Well, you guys know what Amber Alerts are, right? Amber Alerts are actually pretty important. They let you know when a child has gone missing and what car to look for and license plate. things like that. So they're very, very important. Gnostic says I'm married. She tolerates me. So when Texas officials sent out an Amber Alert, you would think they'd take it seriously. And I'm sure I fed them yesterday. It's your turn to feed them. Texas officials accidentally sent an Amber Alert. Like this. If you can't see it, I will increase it. Local Amber Alert for Glenn, wearing a blue shirt and a black collar, with red hair. If you guys don't know what that is, that one on the top is the new version of Chucky from the newest Child's Play movie. And the suspect, seen below, is the original Chucky. Now, I'm sure this is a prank. I'm pretty sure this is a prank. Because they do give pretty accurate descriptions. Red or auburn hair, age 28. Race is other doll. Weight 16 pounds, male, eyes blue, and then gives a description of Chucky. So someone put thought into this. Glenn is the child of Chucky? I had no idea. So let's... I'm sure this is a prank, guys, but he did say he'd always come back. Texas officials were left red-faced when the Texas Department of Safety accidentally sent out an Amber Alert claiming that Child's Play's puppet Chucky had abducted his son, Glenn Ray, featured in Seed of Chucky. See, I never saw that one. And was on the run while wielding a huge knife. According to the alert, captured by TMZ, the abducted Glenn, 5, weighed 5 pounds and standing at 2 foot 3 inches, was last seen in Henderson, Texas, and the suspect, Chucky, 28, was in his classic blue denim overalls and striped shirt. This alert is a result of a test malfunction, the Texas DPS told TMZ. We apologize for the confusion this may have caused and are diligently working to ensure this does not happen again. Yes, it was a test malfunction. Tests malfunction. I know the last few Child's Plays were pretty funny bad. So yeah, Allie, that is a long, convoluted story that is told in a few sequels. You need to watch it. It would actually take maybe 4 or 5 movies to tell out the entire story. So I'm pretty sure this was a prank, and whoever it was that did the prank no longer has a job. Just like the emergency alert system, messing with the Amber Alert system is probably a bad plan. But Seed of Chucky is crazy, right? All the Child's Play movies are pretty insane. Like after the first one, they just kind of after the first and second one, they kind of go off the rails, right? Same thing with Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. Even Halloween got a little crazy at the end. But nothing is as crazy as real life. Don't believe me? Well, I know you all remember Brianna Wu. Brianna Wu believed that rocks from the moon could be launched at the Earth to leave impact craters. Rocks the size of my fist would break through the Earth's atmosphere and kill hundreds of people with impact craters. She's a moron, and she's running for Congress again. But this person is already in Congress. And she's a conservative. Oh Lord. Here we go. You guys aren't ready for this, trust me. GOP Congresswoman blamed wildfires on secret Jewish space laser. Go read that again. GOP Congresswoman blamed wildfires on secret Jewish space laser. Now I know what you're saying. This is a joke. There's no way this is a real thing. Someone's having a laugh. This is a real thing. Axios has a small squib about the mischief makers, a handful of idiosyncratic congressional backbenchers who make trouble for their respective party leadership. The leading Democratic mischief maker is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who advocates some left-wing views I consider simplistic and impractical, and, in some cases, poll badly. Yes, they poll badly. The top example of a conservative mischief maker, presented in perfect symmetry, is Marjorie Taylor Greene. Greene's views are just a bit more controversial. Now this, I'm assuming, since they're saying that Ocasio-Cortez is not necessarily a far left person, this person is probably on the left, probably a progressive, so take some of the hyperbolic language with a grain of salt. But if this is what they truly believe, that hyperbolic language is well deserved. Greene's views are just a bit more controversial. They include, but by no means limited to, the following. The QAnon conspiracy. QAnon are fucking insane, guys. I don't know if you know anything about QAnon. They're nuts! Like, tinfoil hat wearers are going, okay, you guys need to chill. Which holds that Donald Trump is secretly fighting a worldwide child sex slavery ring that was supposed to culminate in the mass arrest of his political opposition, is worth listening to. Muslims don't belong in government. I'm assuming she's talking about Rashida Tlaib. 9/11 was an inside job. Shootings at Parkland, Sandy Hook, and Las Vegas were staged. So she is a fan of Alex Jones, I take it. And Zionist supremacists, I said that, Zionist supremacists are secretly masterminding Muslim immigration to Europe in a scheme to outbreed white people.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I had to do the manly thing and open a jar for Ishtar. And the final bullet point here is leading Democratic officials should be executed. Greene is a whole bag of cats. Like, her head is just a hive of bees, if she believes any of this stuff. The most recent Greene view to be unearthed comes via Eric Hanankoy. Just over 2 years ago, Greene suggested in a Facebook post that wildfires in California were not natural. You know, because they don't happen every fucking year. Wildfires are not a thing that happen every year in California. Forests don't just catch fire, you know. They do. Lightning strikes are a thing. Dry lightning is a thing. People not controlling their campfires is a thing. Smokey the Bear has a fucking job, damn it. That's the reason why. Rather, the blazes had been started by PG&E in conjunction with the Rothschilds, using a space laser in order to clear room for a high-speed rail project. That is a whole fucking thing of crazy. Here's Green's entire post. Oh, we're going to read this. Alright, hold on a second. Wait, Wren says, wait, Jews in Space, isn't that already a movie made by Mel Brooks? Jews in Space was Kentucky Fried Movie, I think. That wasn't Mel Brooks. AOC is far left, no, and in no ifs, ands, or buts about it. QAnon are the dregs of 4chan, not wrong. Parkland was sketchy, Matt. The local units were ordered to ignore the calls, says Cuttlefish. That I don't know anything about, can't comment. Red Feather says, what color pills has she taken? All of them. The Skittles. That's all you can say. She thinks the colored pills are Skittles. Let's see. 4chan is too left-leaning for QAnon. And Steve says, guys, more likes, more likes. I agree with Steve. Hit that like button, guys, if you can. I would appreciate it. It does help spread this channel around. It shows that there is interaction, just like you guys commenting in chat, views, things like that. It does help get this channel back up in the algorithm. Now, I do want to explain something before we read this statement. The reason that there were no videos this week, and that includes gaming videos and things like that, is I did more live streams than I normally do, so that took up my extra time. This next week, there will be videos again, and then we'll go from there and see how things go. So let's read this actual statement from Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is November 17th, 2018. As there are now over 70 people confirmed dead and over 1,000 missing, the fires in California are a horrific tragedy. I'm praying for all involved. I'm posting this in speculation because there are too many coincidences to ignore. And just putting it out here for some research I've done stemming from the curiosity over PG&E stocks, which tanked all week, then rallied Thursday night after California official announced they would not let PG&E fail. I find it very interesting that Roger Kimmel on the board of directors of PG&E is also vice chairman of Rothschild Incorporated international investment banking firm. I also find interesting the long history of financial contributions that PG&E has made to Jerry Brown over the years and millions spent in lobbying. For those of you who don't live in California, Jerry Brown is the one that got elected on the high-speed rail thing, even with people who didn't want it. He still pushed it forward, raised taxes, and caused a lot of people a lot of money for nothing! What a coincidence it must be that Governor Brown signed a bill in September 2018 protecting PG&E and allowing PG&E to pass off its cost of fire responsibility to its customer in rate hikes and through bonds. No, it just means Jerry Brown is an asshole. It also must be just a coincidence that the fires are burning in the same projected area that the $77 billion high-speed rail project is to be built, which also happens to be Governor Brown's pet project. And what are the odds that Feinstein's husband, Richard Blum, is the contractor to the rail project? Geez, with that much money, we could build 3 U.S. southern border walls. Then, oddly, there are all these people who have said they saw what looked like lasers or blue beams of light causing the fires. And pictures and videos. I don't know anything about that, but I do find it really curious PG&E's partnership with Solarin on space solar generators starting in 2009. We are getting into conspiracy level shit here, people. Pay attention to Marjorie Taylor Greene. She knows her shit. They announced the launch into space in March 2018. This is not speculative. She is talking about cold, hard facts. I can guarantee it. And maybe even put them up before that. Space solar generators collect the sun's energy and then beam it back to Earth to the sun's to a transmitter to convert it to electricity. The idea is clean energy to replace coal and oil. Phew! Ooh. Sorry, guys. My apologies. Where was I? Coal and oil. If they are beaming the sun's energy back to Earth, I'm sure they wouldn't ever miss a transmitter receiving station, right? Thank you, Cuttlefish. Thank you, Red Feather. I mean, mistakes are never made and when anything new is invented. What would that look like anyway? A laser beam or light beam coming down to Earth, I guess? Could that cause a fire? I don't know. She didn't add the thinking emoji, so I'm gonna do it for her. I hope not. That wouldn't look so good for PG&E, Rothschild Incorporated, Solarian, or Jerry Brown, who sure does seem fond of PG&E. Good thing for Solarian that Michael Peavy is on their board since he is a former president of California Public Utilities Commission, California's most powerful energy regulator agency. Great connections right there. Thank you, Jacob. And thank you, Malik. Also, I will say whoever was able to buy that PG&E stock at the bottom before that announcement was made, when stocks rally sure did well on their investment. I wonder how you get privy to that kind of info. Oh, now she does the thinking emoji. You must have to know somebody, right? Seems like there's a lot of connected people in this crowd. And with these space solar generators, I really hope they have very good aim beaming the sun's power down to Earth. But what do I know? I just like to read a lot. Wow. Wow. Yes, lightning is Jewish moon lasers. Space lasers. Let's see. I think there's not much more. So the Rothschild family has... I don't even need to read the rest of this. Listen. There is crazy, and then there is conspiracy crazy. And then there's whatever the fuck this woman believes. This is not... Wildfires are a thing. Do you want to know why the wildfires in California were so bad this year and last year? Because Gavin Newsom has cut back on national spending for the national parks. So they're not clear-cutting away all of the dead brush. So the dead brush gathers, and then it burns. It's bad. So fires happen. There's fires that happen here in Washington. We had a huge one a couple of years ago. Huge fire. Do you want to know how it started? And Ishtar can back me up on this. We were driving to work, and we saw a little homeless encampment off the side of the freeway, and they were building a fire. At the end of the day, we were on our way back. Guess where the fire was? Possibly right there where they lost control of the fire. And burned quite a bit of that little area. Yeah, controlled burns are also a thing. Racist Gavin Newsom also let the prisoners out who normally help the firefighters. Well, you know, don't worry about that, Ray. Kamala Harris will make sure to get them back and then not pay them for their labor and keep them there longer than they're supposed to be. So it'll all work out in the end. Don't worry. All right. I got two more for you guys. So I'm gonna ask you, because I want to know what you guys want me to talk about. Do you want me to talk about a video game? Or do you want me to talk about China? Put a 1 in the chat for video games, a 2 in the chat for China. Both of them you will enjoy. Video game, video game, video game, video game. All right. I see it. That's all ones. Not even there's a single two. Just 1 2. Malik, you are outvoted. I am sorry. So we're going to talk about video games. Now, I've never been to this site. This is from The Gamer. Even Crisis in the chat is like, nope, we want to hear about games, not China. So, Resident Evil 8's Villages. Duke represents a tired trope of fat shaming. Thank you, games journalists. So I want to point out that the Duke of Resident Evil's Village is a bad guy. We are supposed to want to hate him. Now, to be fair, the female vampire that people are talking about, they're calling her Giant Mama Milky. You're supposed to be afraid of her, and Resident Evil fans and horror game fans are so jaded that they are pretty much like, no, I want her to step on me instead. You're not supposed to like this guy. And so what? He's fat. I am not the skinniest person. I have been made fun of. It's not a big deal. But here we go. Games journalist Cian Marr wants to tell us about the tired trope of fat shaming in games. A rickety carriage is parked outside an arcane manor, sitting stationary in its snow-laden surroundings. These are the fucking Before I go any further, these are the fucking people that get these advanced copies and are supposed to give the advanced copies a good review or a bad review, not give us their political hot takes about characters or their inner workings or anything like that. Just tell us if the graphics are good. Tell us if the sound works. Tell us if the characters are likable. Tell us if the gameplay is fun. Tell us if tell us anything about the game. I don't give a fuck about your political correcting bullshit of social justice. I don't care. Hey, you wanted representation? You got it. You wanted healthy at any size? The Duke is healthy. According to you idiots. So, you fat people, you obese, morbidly obese, extremely fat people, like the Duke here, the ones that are like Tess Holiday, who want healthy at any size. There he is. There's your representation. I'm sorry. I know. You wanted good representation. You wanted sexy representation. You wanted representation that was a character you could like. Not one that you don't. Not one that the other characters don't. Not one that people are made to hate. You wanted another character like Big Mama Milky, where the gamers are going to go crazy over her, so maybe, just maybe, in the slightest little bit, you'd be able to be okay walking out in your Speedo. It doesn't work that way. So, this person got an advanced copy. And now we get to hear about their social justice, politically correct opinion about the Duke. A vague light shines as the door creaks open, illuminating not a head or a leg, but a drooping belly as it spills out the door. Unflatteringly visible beneath the oh-so-small shirt that can only dream of containing half of it. There is no face or voice here. There is simply a ludicrous presence of a large gut lumbering from off-screen to center stage. So, did they model the Duke after Ethan Ralph? Because sounds like the Gunt. Now, I don't know if this Duke has a jiggle physics or not, but we know Ethan Ralph does. And Well, we don't like him either. Of course, this man, the Duke, is a merchant. A gravy-guzzling greedster who divides his waking hours into scoffathons and extortionate auctioneering. I'd be surprised if he was anything else, really, because fat, as a character trait, is almost always synonymous with overindulgent or bad. Fat is synonymous with overindulgent because you have to overindulge to get there! I know this for a fact! Okay? Up until 3rd grade, I was as thin as a rail. Do you want to know what happened when I hit 3rd grade? I found out about Saturday morning cartoons and Twinkies. And that's what I did on the weekend instead of going to play with my friends outside. I sat home and overindulged in cartoons and sugary processed sweets. So thus I gained weight. And I continued to gain weight because I didn't change my habits. So from 3rd grade to 4th grade, I turned into a butterball. That's why overindulgence is synonymous with being fat, because you have to. You have to overindulge. You have to overindulge in videos. You have to overindulge in cartoons, video games. You have to overindulge in food. You have to overindulge in laziness. And I'm changing that. It's taken me 39 years to get it in my head. Well, 7 years to get it into my head that I needed to do something. And fucking COVID stopped that for the last year. But our gym is back open and we're going 4 times a week. It took me 37 years to get that into my head that I needed to change not only my eating habits, but my physical habits as well. And I'm doing what I can. But yes, being fat is symbolic of being overindulgent. Being greedy, being lazy. And most of the time, well, bad guys are meant to be disgusting! Let's see, Haster says, come on, we cried the time is ripe to send him shooting up the pipe, but don't, dear children, be alarmed. Augustus Gloop will not be harmed. Augustus Gloop will not be harmed. Please tell me you remembered that from memory, Haster. Although, of course, we must admit he will be altered quite a bit. Slowly, wheels go round and round, and cogs begin to grind and pound. We'll boil him for a minute more until we're absolutely sure. Then out he comes, by God, by grace. A miracle has taken place. A miracle has taken place. This greedy brute, this louse's ears, this louse's earls loved by people everywhere, who could hate or bear a grudge against a luscious bit of fudge. Alright, Haster. That was good. Thank you for that. I didn't like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory as much as I like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but the songs in the second one were much better. Okay. If the Duke was thin, hello Bowie, I'd have looked at him and mulled over a myriad of possibilities what role he might play in the story. But with that breadbasket, come on, villain or fraudster for sure. Isn't this the same group of people who like insulting Trump and how big he is and comparing that to him being lazy and evil? Just food for thought. Cuttlefish says, go Matt Nish. Thank you very much. Ray said, Matt realized he had a problem when spent 2 minutes chasing Indiana Jones because he thought the gold statue was a big thing of chocolate. Ow, Ray. Whew. I'm not that big. That hurt a little. Skosh. Take the knife out of my back for that one. Okay. Ray says, Ishtar, we all have that point. Mine was when the Millennium Falcon landed on my belt buckle looking for Princess Leia. Alright, that was good, Ray. Yeah, I know all he does is sell stuff, Jacob. They just want to make it a thing. The irony here is that Capcom specifically acknowledged this character design during last week's Resident Evil Village showcase. The exact quote that stayed in my mind is this: the director wanted to give him a unique look. But as video game scholar Dr. Todd Harper pointed out last night, the fat merchant trope has appeared and reappeared throughout countless texts over the years, both in games and other forms of media, and no one cares. It's very true, Ray. As a result, the Duke's design isn't very unique at all, it's just more of the same. If you stop and actually think about this for a second, you'll be able to see that this is always the same boring case. Spirited Away is a gorgeous film, but of course the greed of humans is symbolized by turning them into fat pigs who would sooner eat slop than acknowledge their daughter. Yes! Because all they care about is eating! In Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, greed isn't fat, however, gluttony is able to think of anything other than excess. Gluttony. Gluttony. That's what it means. Excess. You might think the act of being gluttonous is specifically related to food, but the Seven Deadly Sins Merlin, known as the boar sin of gluttony, is designed to be thin-waisted and classically attractive. Her gluttony is represented by her insatiable thirst for power and knowledge, which is a bit more nuanced than, oh, that person is greedy, add a few pounds. Yes, but the gluttony is still there. That's the point. It's still a glutton. She's still a glutton for knowledge. What the fuck was the name of this person again? Cian, don't understand any of these concepts or tropes. You just want to put something out there so you can get your pats on the back and the head pats from your social justice crowd. Stop. Even Mr. Greedy from Mr. Men has a big tummy tank. Yes. I think the last one highlights how ingrained this is in cultural depictions of fat people, as if being overweight is indicative of some mindless compulsion to consume at all times. In reality, some people have less time to exercise because they're busy raising a family or working a demanding job. I work a demanding job. Ishtar and I both work demanding jobs. Do you want to know when we go to the gym? 11 o'clock at night. You make time. You make time. And there are families out there, there are moms out there who have 5 kids, 4 kids, and they do that and still look good doing it. And it's told, you have good genes. I've seen Ishtar's good genes. Makes her ass look amazing. But it's not good genes that make you a glutton. It's laziness and overindulgence. So, yeah, this is, for all of the apparent perceptions that fat people are inherently lazy or otherwise bad, or always have to be the butt of the joke, it's weird to think that, ironically, their depictions in video games are always lazy, bad, or a complete and utter joke. Resident Evil Village looks like a fascinating game for a variety of different reasons, but with all the chat about tall vampire lady, barely anybody took notice of the fact that the Duke is yet another tired and outdated instance of the character is bad. No worries, just make their belly a bit bigger. As if his stomach is what makes him miserly, ultra-capitalist, profiteering off the end of the world. In case you hadn't noticed, we've already got loads of people like that, and none of them could fill half an XL tank top. I don't think 8's gonna suck, Jacob. The way that they have things going, I don't think it's gonna suck. They're gonna have to explain how vampires are a thing now. But other than that, I don't think it's going to suck. But I'm gonna save. Well, I can't really save it. All right, we're just gonna go into the next one because it does kind of. I mean, you gotta have balls to be able to do this. Now, as I said, Fauci wants us to wear 2 masks or 3 masks, or hell, he wants us to wear a hazmat suit. China is the way to go. They don't want... I don't know if you guys know this. There's something called a nosegasm. I think I talked about this last week. There are people who are having orgasm from the coronavirus test through the nose. Well, China has probably seen a couple of those happening and basically said, can't have any more of that. Instead, we're just going to swab your butt. That's right. China rolls out anal swab coronavirus test, saying it's more accurate than the throat method. Look, if they're going to stick something up my ass, I don't care if it's a swab or not, please take me out to dinner first. And don't make me come to you. Let me get myself dolled up a little bit, and then we'll do this. Okay? But China, no. No. China wants to test stuff up your butt. These are also the same people that, we hear about on MSNBC from Wren about finding weird things in their digestive tract. Or, sticking a potato up there and forgetting about it until it grew roots into their uterus. Ugh. Anyway, Seoul. Months-long lockdowns. Entire city populations herded through the streets for mandatory testing. The people of China could be forgiven for thinking they had seen it all during the coronavirus pandemic. But now they face a new indignity. The addition of anal swabs. Now, if you remember, I think I read this on the Last Vox, or it could have been Antoine on MSNBC. I'm pretty sure it was Last Vox. Doctors did confirm you can catch coronavirus from passing gas. So they need to be a little careful with that. You push something in there, someone maybe has a nervous stomach, they could catch the coronavirus as well as a whiff of the beef stew that they had the night before. Yes, you read that right, to the testing regime for those in quarantine. Wait, Cuttlefish says CDC is starting to test the sewer systems to track spread among communities. Wonderful. It's going to skyrocket. So many things in the sewers. Chinese state media outlets introduced the new protocol in recent days, prompting widespread discussion and some outrage. I don't know about outrage. I know about what the fuck and laughing. I wouldn't say outrage. Some Chinese doctors say the science is there. That and they just like sticking things up people's butts. Recovering patients, they say, have continued to test positive through samples from the lower digestive tract days after nasal and throat swabs came back negative. Yet for many, it seemed a step too far in government intrusion. I mean, it's more of the bend over and cough kind of thing, but sure, after a year of counting of a dignity and eroding pandemic, everyone involved will be so embarrassed. One user in Guangdong province said Wednesday on Weibo, a Chinese social media platform. Weibo. So they don't have weebs, they have Weebos. A Chinese social media platform. In a Weibo poll, 80% of respondents said they could not accept the invasive method. They're gonna have to. Chinese doctors who support the new test said the method's inconvenience meant it made sense for us only to use in select groups, such as the quarantine centers. If we add anal swab testing, it can raise our rate of identifying infected patients. Liz Tongjian, an infectious disease specialist at Beijing Yuan Hospital, said on state-run broadcast CCTV on Sunday. But of course, considering that collecting anal swabs is not as convenient as throat swabs at the moment, before only key groups such as those in quarantine receive both. You're giving it to you on both ends. We call that an Eiffel Tower. When you got one person behind you sticking something up you and one person sticking something through your throat, and then they high-five at the top of it, that's called an Eiffel Tower. The Chinese government is now Eiffel Towering their patients to test for COVID. That's something to think about. The new protocol comes just over a year after the virus began spreading rapidly in the country. Chinese officials are worried about the approach of Lunar New Year next month, often called the world's largest annual migration. Some 3 billion trips are made over the holiday during a non-pandemic year, which means even a single silent coronavirus case could rapidly leapfrog across the nation. Wren says, if you thought that the orgasm problem was before in China. Yeah. China is seeking to vaccinate 50 million people before the holiday, but that's less than 4% of its population. Far too low a rate to prevent mass transmission. Officials have tightened restrictions in recent weeks, along with people bending over, with tens of millions of people returned to lockdown in areas with isolated outbreaks. As before, travelers arriving from overseas go straight into 2 weeks of hotel quarantine. But now a week of home quarantine has been added, as well as a week of daily reports to health officials. So, I work with a bunch of Asians, and during Chinese New Year, they tend to go on vacation. What this is saying is if they decide to go back home for vacation, not only are they going to have to quarantine for 2 weeks, then they have to quarantine for a week at home, and then during the 4th week, if they take it and they have the vacation pay for it, they have to give daily tests. It's not quite worth it to go back home. Since the beginning of the pandemic, China has been willing to take draconian measures to halt the spread of the coronavirus, even at enormous inconvenience to the population, like welding people into their homes. And if they die, oh well. In the early days of the lockdowns, health officials sometimes sealed apartment buildings to keep people from leaving. Millions were rounded up for overnight flash testing drives, with people forming lines in the streets in darkness. After an outbreak at Shanghai's International Airport in November, officials locked thousands of employees inside for testing, prompting a terrifying stampede. I got into a discussion with someone at work about the COVID stuff. And he's one of these people that blamed Trump for coronavirus. And I brought up, well, what could he have done differently? And he said, well, lock things down. I said he did that. And he said, well, what about banning travel from these places? I said he did that, and he was called xenophobic and racist. And then he basically said, well, look at what China did. At that point, we had been talking for a good 20 minutes already while we were supposed to be working, so I didn't really get a chance to go into what China did to their people. But yeah, they welded people into their homes. They locked people into an airport. They did things that we could never do in America, and this is someone who wanted to do this to Americans. It's not going to happen. But yeah, China has not, and will not, and does not treat their citizens well. China, where was I? Now, with infections stubbornly continuing to emerge ahead of the holiday, the government has approved an expanded use of anal swab testing. China tried the testing procedure in small groups last year, with the results circulated in research journals. A group of Chinese researchers published a study in the Future of Microbiology journal in August, reporting that from some recovering coronavirus patients, anal swab samples still tested positive after they had tested negative through throat swabs. Yes, and then they sent infected to other countries, damn alien. Intriguingly, SARS-CoV-2 detection was positive in the anal swab of 2 patients and negative in throat swab of and sputum samples, they wrote. We propose anal swabs as a potentially optimal specimen for SARS-CoV-2 detection for evaluation of hospital discharge of COVID-19 patients. Do you guys remember a couple weeks ago, talking on the Last Vox, we talked about how New York was wanting to lock people into quarantine, they wanted to pass a bill that would allow them to put people into quarantine camps, basically. How Germany is kind of doing that already. It was either last week or it was the week before. I think it was the week before. They want to still do that. And now, instead of saying you're healthy, what they're going to do now, if this becomes a big thing, is they're going to take your throat swab, your nasal swab, and you're still not going to be able to go, even if you're negative. Because then they're going to give you a swab up your butt, and say you're still positive, and you have to stay in the camp. And they're not even going to invite you to dinner. No steak, no candles, no wine. They're just going to shove something up your butt. Welcome to 2021. As for how the test is conducted, I think we can all figure that part out. But this goes over it. The Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention published instructions last March. It said that a stool sample should be taken from patients, and if that is not possible, do an anal swab by inserting a cotton-tipped stick 3 to 5 centimeters, 1 to 2 inches, into the rectum. In recent days, the state-run tabloid Global Times noted that the procedure was controversial, with some doctors saying nasal and throat swabs were more effective because coronavirus is a respiratory infection. There have been cases concerning the coronavirus testing positive in a patient's excrement, but no evidence has suggested it has been transmitted through one's digestive system, except for the study that the doctor said that you could pass COVID through farting in someone's face. The Global Times cited Yang Jianqun, a pathologist at Wuhan University, as saying Chinese social media was awash with comments of disbelief and concern about the new test procedure. It's difficult for the nurses, says one person on Weibo. We must really try hard to avoid catching coronavirus, said another. Whoo boy, woo lad. Oh dear. And many other expletives and surprise. Freedom sticks. Guys, things are looking bad. I know. We got anal swabs coming. New York wants to put us into quarantine camps. Germany is trying to recreate concentration camps for some reason. China is now pushing for anal swabs, and as an example, the American people want to use that for, well, for what we do here. It's all bad. And I know things are looking up, I guess you could say, if you look at if you look at some things. I wish I could give you examples. Like for me, things are looking up because we're able to go to, we're going to hopefully be able to go out for our anniversary. Maybe. For those of you who don't know, Ishtar and I's anniversary is February 14th, Valentine's Day. There are some restaurants out here that we enjoy going to that are allowed for outside dining. So maybe we're going to try and do that. Our gym is open back up. Yeah, they have limitations during the busy times. You 50 people and you can only have an hour. But things are opening back up. Yeah, way to start off 2021. Yeah, it's bad. The only thing I can tell you guys is to stay strong. We're going to be seeing a lot of Schadenfreude coming. And there are some of you in the chat that are really looking forward to it. And it's going to be hard to not rub it in people's faces. Remember this, though. If you rub it in people's faces, and you don't kind of sympathize with them, it's going to backfire on what you want it to do. They're not going to learn. We already know from things like this they're not going to learn. They're going to go for the they're going to try and get Biden in again. How's it going, Dendari? They're going to try and get Biden in again for another 4 terms if he's not dead already. They're going to try and push some socialist politics. They're going to try and push some socialist agendas, socialist laws. We all know this. We see it coming. It's not going to work. I mean, we can already see that gas is already up 40, 50 cents. We can see all of this stuff happening. Insulin is now becoming more expensive because, well, Biden signed more executive orders in his first week as president than any president in the history of our country. overturning things left and right, declaring things left and right. People are angry. And I know Ray has been looking into it. He's got some opinions about the whole GameStop stock stuff, the stonks. And the way that I see it, I don't have any FOMO over it. And if you guys don't know what FOMO is, FOMO, it's fear of missing out. It's a tactic that a lot of multi-level marketers use to try and catch you and get you in on their stuff. Pyramid schemes. I don't really have any FOMO over it. Like, yeah, I wish I would have bought stocks in GameStop when they were $7 a stock. Sure. I know Dogecoin. Who the fuck buys Dogecoin? I don't fucking know. I don't even know if you can use Dogecoin for anything. Yeah, its stock has gone up. Big fucking deal. I've already said before, I had an opportunity to buy Bitcoin when it was like $6 a coin. And I had $100 to spend. If you worry about missing out on things, if you're always worried about the next big thing that's coming around, you're going to miss out on your life because you're going to be so worried about missing out on everything else. King's Night, or Plain Discord, you've seen him in the chat every once in a while. He plays the stock market. And he really does try and do that stuff. He's got some long-term stocks that he thinks are gonna go good, and there's a lot of things. Yeah, Bitcoin is 38K now. But he was just telling me the other day he had some money to spend and he made $300 and he's happy about that. Did he make it on GameStop? I don't think so. I don't know if that's what he made it on, but don't worry about the fear of missing out. Worry about what you can control. Worry about what you can have an effect on. So that means your family, your job, your hobbies. If you are still locked in your house, if you are still under severe lockdown in whatever state it is, you really need to work on keeping yourself sane. Like Ray got a promotion. He needed to get out of his last job. He needed to get out of being in that position because it was driving him crazy. So he did what he could and what he could control and tried for a different position. And he got a promotion. And he likes this promotion better. He likes this job better than what he was doing. If you can control, if you focus on what you can control and you focus on what you can do personally, be it with your family or whatever it is, these things will not be that bad. I understand, Zeal Gold, I understand leftists are jumping into hobbies left and right and they're trying to destroy it, they're trying to take it down. Okay, you and I played MTG Arena late last night, Zeal Gold. We didn't talk politics. We just talked about stupid shit and had fun. I did the same thing with, we played games with Mitzi. You don't have to include all of this stuff. Don't worry about the FOMO. Don't worry about all of that. Don't worry about leftists destroying anything. You need to just take a step back and worry about yourself. And that's the best thing I can say. So, don't worry about missing out on that next big stock hike. Don't miss out on the next big Dogecoin thing. Whatever it is. Focus on yourself, guys. And things will get better. I promise. It's only 4 years. But, it's about that time. It's after that time. And, my throat's getting a little sore. I hope you guys had a great time. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Ray says, fuck Dogecoin, buy Twancoin. Didn't know that was a thing, but hey. I hope you guys had fun. If you like this, subscribe, share it around, and I'll have a good night. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. And I'll see you next time. Have a good night, everybody.